Have you ever faced a life or death encounter with a giant and ferocious wild boar? I did. It was a moment that I often call a life or death encounter between man and wild animal. The story takes place in a dense forest in the Ardennes region in the northeast of France. I went with Pierre and Laurent, two close friends and well-known marksmen in the local hunting club. We were told by veteran hunters that there was an unusually large wild boar, estimated to be over 150 kilograms, that was constantly attacking the local farmers' pastures, digging and destroying fences. Several hunters tried, but the animal always disappeared like a ghost in the dense forest. Our hunting party had more than 20 people, divided into small groups to search for wild boar in different directions. Pierre and Laurent, I headed southwest, where the forest was deep and dense. Suddenly, a roar echoed from ahead. Not a single one, but a whole pack. The hounds rushed forward, howling urgently. Pierre whispered, "Here it is, get ready." We slowly approached and opened fire. Loud explosions mingled with the barking of the dogs. The boar was hit and rolled down the slope. After killing a wild boar, we felt motivated again. The team continued to search for traces of wild boars. The deeper we went, the more humid the forest smelled. The fallen leaves partly concealed the footprints of wild boars. Therefore, the search became more difficult. As Laurent was hesitantly moving to another area, we heard rustling not far away. We breathed lightly, held our guns firmly, and moved slowly. After a while, we spotted a wild boar moving through the trees. Quickly, Laurent took aim and successfully killed it with one shot. At noon, after an hour of rest to regain strength, although everyone was exhausted, no one gave up. While resting at the edge of the forest, we heard the barking of dogs again, along with the sound of hurried footsteps as if being chased. Pierre and I quickly held our guns firmly and pulled the trigger. The big wild boar collapsed on the spot. The others ran away into the forest. We quickly chased after them, determined not to let any wild boar escape. With great speed, this wild boar ran away into a dense area with many very tall trees. From a good position, we opened fire on it, but the boar was not hit. It managed to escape our sight. It is undeniable that wild boars are becoming more intelligent. Perhaps they have developed an instinct to avoid danger. However, what we fear is not their escape, but the possibility of their return. The wild boars that are not exterminated will certainly return in the future and continue to destroy the farm, causing much more serious damage. In the afternoon, we moved towards the edge of the forest, where the farm bordered, to gather our spoils. It seemed that we would not be able to harvest any more wild boars, but our pack of dogs discovered their tracks. After a while of chasing, we discovered a herd of wild boars, all of them large in size. Perhaps because they sensed danger, they ran very fast. We shot continuously and killed several wild boars. By the end of the day, we had killed dozens of wild boars. Some were downed with a single shot. Laurent said that shooting quickly was a natural respect we had for them. today's video ends here. How do you feel today? Please comment below to let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. I am a farmer in South Texas where corn and soybean fields stretch out endlessly. But behind the peaceful facade lies a war that few people see. The war with feral pigs. Feral pigs have long been a vicious invasive species, destroying crops, digging up soil, and confronting hunters when cornered. In recent years, I have learned to become a hunter, not out of passion, but for a living. The war is often fought with traps and guns. The trap I chose was a corral trap, a circular trap with a trapdoor made from wire mesh panels about 1.5 meters high. Inside, we baited it with corn mixed with fat and wine, which wild boars particularly love. They can't resist the smell. To effectively trap wild boars, we need to set the traps several days in advance so that the wild boars are not alert. To effectively trap wild boars, you need to install surveillance cameras to capture the wild boar's activity time. After many times approaching the corn bait without encountering danger, more wild boars will appear. Through the camera, we know the time and number of wild boars entering the trap. We can remotely control the trap to trigger and capture the prey. Early in the morning, we moved to the trap location to harvest wild boars. Although we knew in advance that there were many wild boars in the trap, we still felt nervous when facing them. As we approached the trap, the wild boars panicked and rushed at the bars, growling and trying to break through the cage. We did not shoot them immediately, but looked around, making sure that the wild boars did not fall into the trap. When we saw no danger around, we aimed and killed each wild boar. Each accurate shot took down the wild boar immediately, ending it quickly. That was the moral rule we set, which was not to let them suffer for long. To get a quick and clean shot, we needed to aim precisely at the head and chest. After killing these wild boars, we loaded them onto the truck. The wild boars were so heavy that my whole body almost swayed. These wild boars would be processed to make full use of them. Nothing would be wasted. After bringing the wild boars back from the traps, we returned to the guardhouse on the south side, where the barley fields and the wild woods met. This was where the pigs often came out at midday to find water. I hid on the high watchtower, my gun ready, my eyes fixed on the binoculars. Around 11 a.m., a herd of wild boars appeared. I took a breath, adjusted my scope. At a distance of 50 meters, I aimed at the leader and pulled the trigger. The explosion rang out in the silence, causing the remaining herds to scatter. The one that was shot staggered, but still ran away. I slid down to the hut, followed the tracks, and found the wild boar, collapsed about 100 meters from the hut. While waiting, we moved closer to the farm area, where the terrain was flat and wild boars often appeared in large herds. In the blazing sun, I could clearly smell the scent of soil, grass, and wild boar mixed together. I held the gun firmly in my hand. As soon as the wild boar appeared, I pulled the trigger. Thanks to the accurate shot and good vision, we continued to kill a few more wild boars. Although we hunted a lot of wild boar, we were not very excited, because this was not a recreation hunt. The goal was to prevent wild boar infestation and limit their population. All wild boars hunted will be transported by us to the staging area. After inventory, they will be sent to local slaughterhouses. Hunting wild boars in the U.S. is not only a farmer's act of self-defense against crop damage, but also an art of balancing survival and humanity. Traps help me take the initiative, guns help me finish quickly, but the most important thing is still the heart, cold enough to pull the trigger, warm enough to remember that every fallen animal is the flesh and blood of this land. Our journey of hunting wild boars with traps and guns has ended. How do you feel about today's video? Leave your comments below to let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to receive the latest notifications.
The elders in our village always said that once wild hogs catch the scent of food, they won't stop until they've destroyed everything. I never believed it. Until the garden behind my house turned into a battlefield, trees gnawed down, soil uprooted, everything in chaos. I couldn't stand by any longer. Anger surged within me. Tonight, I decided to hunt them down and put an end to this nightmare. In Texas, where we live, the wild hog problem has become severe. The hog population has exceeded 3 million, spreading across all 254 counties and causing immense damage to agriculture and property. Economically, the estimated annual losses reach $500 million, including the destruction of crops, irrigation systems, and fences, leading to failed harvests and increased management costs for farmers. We set out in the late afternoon, heading toward a vast 5,000-hectare field where an intense hunt was about to take place. This was the time when local farmers were preparing for a new planting season, yet they lived in constant fear. Wild hogs could appear at any moment, undoing all their hard work. We immediately checked our weapons, loaded our ammunition, and prepared for battle. Look at this. The sun had barely set, and already the hogs were storming out, wreaking havoc. But with a distance of nearly 500 meters, we couldn't shoot just yet. We needed to get closer. At just 40 meters away, two of us crawled forward to avoid detection. Every movement had to be slow and precise. After careful consideration, I locked onto a wild hog and aimed for its head. But at that moment, their keen instincts kicked in. The herd froze, sensed danger, and quickly fled. Their sharp sense of smell was their greatest weapon, helping them escape in an instant. We still had a chance. On the opposite side, one lone hog continued feasting, unaware of the threat. With no time to hesitate, I pulled the trigger. A deafening shot rang out. Perfect. The hog dropped instantly. After half an hour of patrolling the fields, I finally spotted the next targets. The hogs were scattered, foraging for leftover grains on the ground. I've always had a preference for the bigger ones. Taking them down was both a challenge and a trophy worth boasting about. We took our shots. One by one, the hogs fell, their bodies littering the field. Learning from our previous shot, we positioned ourselves downwind to avoid detection. Crouching behind a bush, I quietly observed a larger herd of wild hogs. My eyes locked onto the lead sow. That was my main target. These sows reproduce rapidly, so eliminating them would help control the population. It took nearly 10 minutes of observation as the herd kept moving, making it difficult to get a clear shot. But the moment a single shot rang out, the herd panicked and bolted. This time, however, it wouldn't be enough to save them. Gunfire erupted, cutting off all escape routes. The wild hogs dropped on the spot. What a thrilling hunt! Last night was just the beginning. Tonight, we were determined to hunt an even bigger prize. Through my thermal scope, I tracked the dark silhouette of a wild hog as it quietly moved toward the bait we had set earlier. With a distance of over 100 meters, I had enough time to observe, adjust my stance, and find the optimal shooting angle. The moment the hog stepped into my crosshairs, I took the shot. A clean kill. Nearby, more shadows moved, but they, too, soon met their fate. Wild hogs, driven by hunger, couldn't resist the aroma of food. One by one, then in groups, they gathered, completely unaware of the impending danger. Seizing the opportunity, the two of us took precise aim and fired. Through the scope, we saw their bodies collapse motionless on the ground. After the deafening gunfire, the entire field fell into an eerie silence. We thought that was it, but the hogs here were more abundant and reckless than I had imagined. Not far from us, I stumbled upon yet another large herd, each one big and covered in coarse bristles. my hunting partner and I weren't about to let this opportunity slip away. We opened fire, one shot after another. By the time it was over, not a single one had escaped. Tonight, I encountered more wild hogs than I expected, but even with my efforts, the numbers barely made it. With the situation as it is, I'll have to continue my night hunts to protect my land. Thank you all for following today's hunt. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.
Wild boars reproduce uncontrollably, devastate crops, and pose a serious threat to the local ecosystem. Faced with that reality, our hunting team was forced to deploy the most effective strategy: airborne pursuit by helicopter. Every flight is a battle, where speed, tactics, and reflexes must be pushed to the limit. There's no room for hesitation in this war. Once a target is locked, it must be taken down. Over the horizon as we lift off. The helicopter gently vibrates as it carries us into the sky. Only a few minutes into the flight, we spot our first target. A herd of large, fat boars are charging ahead at breakneck speed. They zigzag constantly, but their hoof prints in the sand betray them, revealing every movement. No matter how many times they change direction, my rifle doesn't waver. Wherever they go, our helicopter follows close behind. One by one, the boars fall under a continuous rain of gunfire. Just as planned, not a single target is missed. As we advance into the grasslands and denser forests, the chopper continually adjusts its altitude with flexibility, giving us a clear vantage point. The moment I spot a herd of boars below, I steady my grip and unleash a rapid burst of gunfire. Though the helicopter sways slightly, we maintain our calm and precise aim. Most of the wild boars drop, though a few clever ones manage to escape in time. My God, they just keep coming. We fired countless rounds just to bring them down. It's hard to imagine the destruction this field would face if we didn't take them out. The number of boars on the field is overwhelming, forcing us to circle back several times to finish the job thoroughly. The withered corn rows after harvest blend into the dark color of the boars, making them hard to spot at a glance. The roar of the helicopter alerts them to danger, and they bolt at full speed. We use every second to lock on, take aim, and fire quickly. Not a single one escapes. Open terrain and sparse forest like this make it easier to pinpoint the boar's exact location. However, they no longer move in herds. They've scattered in all directions, reacting instantly to the roar of the helicopter above. A tense showdown unfolds. With precise, relentless shots, the boars are taken down one after another, quickly and efficiently. This hunt is not just a test of stamina, but a battle of wits, patience, and the ability to make split-second decisions. Dense forests are considered safe zones by the boars, places to hide and escape danger. So, we circle around, deliberately pushing them toward the forest's edge, then swiftly give chase. Let's see where they think they can run them. Before our icy muzzles, the wild boars are swiftly eliminated. Speeds up to 50 kilometers h and incredible agility, wild boars aren't easy target. The helicopter gives us the edge in visibility, but it still has to constantly adjust course to keep up with their zigzagging route. But this time, the hunting team triumphed. Even darting like black arrows, the boars couldn't escape our deadly shots. Skill, experience, and decisive action helped us complete the mission flawlessly. Approaches, we head to the open field. The cool dusk air stirs the boars into frenzied activity, and it energizes us too. In just a few short minutes, an unknown number of wild boars are taken down in a rapid-fire sequence of shots. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.